Last time on Alt+SHIFT+NERD!
You won't believe me.
My name is Hiro Nakamura. I'm from the future, and I have a message for you. I don't have much time. I'm risking a rift just by coming here. The girl, you have to save her.
What girl?
The cheerleader. It's the only way to prevent it.
Prevent what?
Everything. The painter. Go to him. He will know. When I call you, you must tell me where we meet. You told me many times how lost you felt before it all started. This is what you've been waiting for. Be the one we need.
Wait!
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
I don't understand!
You don't think I'm crazy, right?
No.
Thanks for tuning in again, peeps. Your interest in our content is greatly appreciated. Now, here's Gozen's love and weird nerdy neighbor, Jay, discussing the infamous Creel House, introduced in Stranger Things 4.
Hello, neighbors. Nice to see you again.
Welcome back.
You must be here to continue our discussion about Stranger Things 4.
Yes, Stranger Things 4 in specific. The Creel Family and the Creel House.
In episodes 3 and 4, we learn more about them from Victor Creel's side, who was suspected of actually murdering Chrissy instead of Eddie by those who remember him from back in the day. The Creels, they moved into this house to get away from the past and leave it all behind, a fresh new start. So that's why they came to Hawkins. They were gifted a house from a relative, an inheritance, if you will. So they moved in, and at first they thought it was a fairy tale, like a dream. In fact, we'll let Alice explain.
It looks like a fairy tale. A dream.
Alice, no running!
It's so big!
Exactly. But not all was well. After the first month, strange things began to happen at the house. Strange things started happening at the Creel house. Only after a month of peace, pets started turning up dead in gruesome ways.
Rabbits, chicken, dogs, and squirrels were being mutilated.
The family started having tormenting visions about their past that they thought they got away from by coming here.
Victor Creel, the father of the family, thought the demon is haunting them.
Yeah, so he thought his son was just sensitive to it, to all the supernatural things happening there. But later on we find out from Henry Creel, son of Victor Creel and Virginia Creel, that it was actually him doing it. He was starting to learn about his psychic abilities. Not that he was sensitive to them already, but he started developing his abilities, and he was the demon haunting the house. He started finding out about his parents as he dug into their psyches and their memories and found that they have done what he considers horrible things that needed to be erased and punished.
Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, each life, a faded, lesser copy of the one before. Wake up, eat, work, sleep, reproduce, and die.
So Henry's mother, Virginia, was suspecting him of causing all this trouble. So she wanted to have a doctor take a look at him.
Dr. Martin Brenner.
And so, today, we learned from episodes 3 and 4. Now, keep in mind, there's going to be spoilers in this discussion. Spoilers for episode 3, 4, and 7.
So, because Henry was a very special child, his mom wanted him to see a doctor, which was intended to be Dr. Brenner.
Yeah, because his mom started realizing this wasn't some demonic or supernatural force. That she started noticing little clues that Henry has something to do with this, even in ways she might not be able to explain. But they were seeing doctors before, and that's part of the fresh start that Henry thought he was going to get by coming to Hawkins.
Yeah, exactly. And then because he didn't like that at all the night before he had to visit Dr. Brenner, that's when he decided, I need to change. I need to change this.
Well, see, that's also the difference too, because again, spoilers for episode 7 now, a little bit of 4, but mainly 7. See, that's a difference in his kill with his mom, Virginia Creel, versus later on when he's actually killing the kids in Hawkins' lab, and also the teenagers in Hawkins in 1986, years and years later. So the main difference is he just didn't want to go. He had enough, basically, and he didn't want to go see Dr. Brenner again. And so he ended up just killing his mom, hoping that would shut her up. And he was going to frame his dad for the murder of the mom and the sister, and that way he might escape somehow, be put into some adopted foster home or something to just get away, or be put in someone else's custody. But as we know, that really didn't save him from Dr. Brenner, because that's the first place he went once he woke up from his coma. Dr. Brenner found him and basically took him in and started studying him while his dad was in prison and the rest of his family was dead. And Dr. Brenner did fake his death too. It was mentioned, just not as obviously as some of this other stuff. So that might be something that people missed, that Brenner did fake his death, and that's why he was called another name. I forget the name off the top of my head right now. That's when he became the orderly working for the lab later on. That's why he assumed a different identity.
Peter Ballard.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what he was called, So, as Henry or Peter Ballard says himself, his intention was not to kill his father. That was like part of his whole plan, that his father got blamed for the murders.
He was arrested, blamed for the death of my sister and mother, just as I had planned.
Yeah, that's a nice point, because he does mention that later on in episode 7 when he's expositing to Eleven and Nancy. He does mention that was all part of his plan. After, he said that the cops came and arrested his father. He didn't intend to kill them, because we see on the internet where other people are saying that he didn't get the chance to kill his father because he ended up passing out and going into a coma first. But that's not the case. He intended his dad to take the blame. But yeah, and so that's why the death of the mom was different. He had already been experimenting with delving into their psyches, their mental past and that sort of thing, and finding out the things, the darker sides to their past, in other words. But that wasn't because he just wanted to mess with them or anything like that. He was learning. But the reason her death came so quick, and there was nothing about seeing a clock or anything like that, was because he didn't have to prepare her for anything. And he was just learning his powers. He didn't know the extent of them. And he also was hoping to get out of going to the doctors in a more long-term stay that she was going to send him to the next morning. So when they were having dinner that night, that's when he just decided, you know what, screw it, this is the time to strike. I'm just going to kill her right now. And so he went through with it then. And that's why that was more of a straight-up murder versus later on, when the way he approaches the teenagers in 1986 in those murders, which we'll have a video going more in depth about that and his processes and why he does what he does. But yeah. But you can see how he developed the process he'll use later in his learnings in these in this episode and a half.
as you call it, Murder-gasms.
Yeah, like when 11 came into the room in episode 7 and saw him murdering that last child in Hawkins' lab, the way he was like looking at him and once the kid fell down dead, and then he just kind of like relaxed, and the way he had this look in his eyes and looked down, and just the way he was breathing and just, you were supposed to wait for me.
I asked you to wait.
It was like he was just finishing his murder-gasm, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Henry was about 12 years old when he murdered his mom and then got into the care of Dr. Brenner, and then in 1979, when this whole incident at the lab happened, he was about 32 years old. So it has been quite a while that he really could, use his powers again. And so it's like an explosion or outburst of, here I am again in my full capacity. And
yeah. And we have yet to learn why he's come back in 1986 after all that time, which, we'll find out hopefully in Volume 2. It's one of the answers that we're hoping for. So, yeah. I think that's all we have to really say about the Creels. We kind of did a recap of what was discovered in episode 3 and 4, and went a little more into detail about the differences between the killing of his family, his powers, and the way he does things later on, and the difference in those kills. But we have a lot more great things coming your way. We're going to go more in depth with this season and what's actually going on while we wait for Volume 2 to drop.
Yes, and stay tuned for more episodes on the interdimensional serial killer called Vecna.
Yes. So thanks for visiting, neighbors. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe.
If you like our lore, explainer videos, reviews, and gaming content, please don't hesitate to let us know in a comment or by clicking the like and subscribe buttons. Alt+SHIFT+NERD is a variety channel of a unique flavor. Oh, if you need a bit more of a tasting of our content, then check out one of these videos that should be on the screen. They'll have appeared if Gozen's Love is doing his JOB.
Rabbits, chicken, dogs, and squirrels were being mutilated.